Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to Ageless Blessings with Brenda Pierce. You've come to the right place for candid conversations, inspiration, and empowerment. Join me with my very special guests as we bring you media that matters on the Divas That Care network. For more about the Divas and to listen to various podcasts, visit www.divasthatcare.com. Now let's get on with the show.
Welcome to Ageless Blessings Radio. I'm Brenda Pierce, the empowered nurse here to triage body, mind, and spirit with my amazing guests. And today we're having an amazing day in Ontario, Canada. The skies are blue and the weather is excellent for summer. And no less wonderful is my guest today, Kelly Falardeau, who you have heard before here on the Divas That Care network, but we're going to be updating and exploring what's new in Kelly's world, because Kelly has turned what could have been a life-altering tragedy into something that has become empowering and inspiring for so many. Now, just to give you a little bit about Kelly, she is a multiple TEDx speaker, and she is a burn survivor since the age of 2 years of age, when she had 75% of her body burnt. So you can imagine, well, I can't imagine. I know how bad it is when we burn a finger, but I can't imagine 75% of your body as a 2-year-old being burnt. And the constant struggle that she had was self-worth and confidence. And as time went on, she found a way to go from a near-death to success, from the ugly scar-faced girl to the top 10 most powerful and influential speaker, Fierce Woman of the Year, and an international best-selling author 5 times. And she's a recipient of the Queen Elizabeth II Diamond Jubilee Medal and a YMCA Woman of Distinction, and most recently completed 2 TEDx talks in 2019. Wow. She has been featured on national TV multiple times and has graced the covers of magazines and newspapers around the world. She has also traveled to Africa to help burn survivors recover from their tragic injuries, and a documentary about her life story, Still Beautiful, was launched on national TV. And you have to ask yourself now, how did a burn survivor who constantly struggled with rejection, staring and teasing, and burst through all this negativity in her life to succeed? You have to hear her speak or watch her documentary to learn more. But today, we get the privilege of actually spending a half hour with Kelly. So welcome to the show, Kelly. It's an honor and a pleasure to have you here with us.
Well, thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I'm honored to be here on your show with you.
Well, it's excellent. And, Kelly, it's so true that what doesn't kill us can be our greatest gift, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Like, a lot of times we see a tragedy that happens to us and we think our life is over, and we think that, nothing good is going to come. And, I'm living proof that, yes, something very tragic can happen, and you can either decide to, use it to, hold yourself back in life, or you can take that tragedy and make it into a gift and make it into something that's going to empower you and also empower others. And that's what I chose to do. I decided that even though, some people might think I'm ugly, and some people might think that I'm not beautiful enough to, be a speaker or an author or all these things that I do it anyway, because it doesn't really matter what they think. It only matters what I think. And if I want to do it, right, I'm going to do it. Simple.
Well, there are no limits to this life experience except those that we put on ourselves. And so many people do live within the box, or figure it's too late in life, or, oh my gosh, that dream is just too impossible. But, you are living proof that, life is meant to be lived to the fullest. And, and after going through all the negativity and all the pain and countless surgical procedures, how many actually have you gone through?
Well, I don't know exactly, but when I kind of figured out, like, how many times, like, I would go to the hospital every second year till I was, like, 20. And, when I was first burnt as a 2-year-old, I was in the hospital for 4 months. And so every 2 days they would put me into the operating room. So I calculated, I think I've had about 40 different surgeries. And then in the past 5 years, I've gone for laser surgery. And I would go almost every 2 months for about 3 years for laser surgery on some of my scars. And so it's a lifetime battle when you have scars like I have and like how other burn survivors have.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, it's no doubt. It's unwittingly and willingly. This lifetime dealing with these issues and the scar tissue and how it can create more issues with your organs and everything else because of it is something that if you could trade it away, I wonder now if you would trade it away if you could. Because look at the gifts that have come out of all this. This is the, it's amazing.
Yeah, and that's true. Like a lot of burn survivors, or even people like who get cancer or get MS, or they have something like tragic that happens to them. If you ask them, would you do it again? Most people would say yes, because this has shaped my life. And, and there's been times when I thought about, okay, what if I didn't get burnt? What would my life look like? And I can't even imagine what my life would look like if I hadn't got burnt.
Yeah.
So I don't know what I would say, when people ask, would you do it all over again? I don't know. I don't know the answer to that. I do know that I'm really proud of myself for taking something so tragic and making it into something so beautiful.
That's great. That's beautiful. And that's the way you have to look at it, because life can either be a grand adventure or a great tragedy. And life's too short to make a tragedy of it, so let's make a grand adventure. And I wonder, Kelly, I know that you are inspiring so many people with your documentary, but you've also been an author of some very, very prolific books on self-esteem and body image. And I wonder if you would be willing to share 3 of your top 3 tips that could help somebody to feel ageless and find bliss in their life, no matter what their situation is.
Oh, I'd love to. That's an awesome question. So one of my things that I had to do was I had to stop comparing myself to other people. So a lot of times someone will walk into a room and the first thing they do is they look around and they think, oh my God, I'm not as beautiful as her. Or, I'm prettier than her, or I look more successful than her. And, it's really kind of fascinating because right now I'm at an Anthony Robbins event. And so there's probably like 5,000 or 6,000 people here. And so, you see some of these women that come in and they're just dressed to the hilt and, like they've got the perfect hair, the perfect makeup, the perfect outfit and the perfect bag, And it's like, I look at them and I think, okay, do they really think that they are beautiful? Like if you were to talk to them and ask them, do you feel beautiful? I bet they would still pick 10 things that are wrong with them.
Wow. Yeah.
That's one of the things that we do. Like instead of looking in the mirror and saying, oh my gosh, like, am I ever cute today? We look in the mirror and we go, oh, I just see those ugly bags under my eyes. And, oh, look at the wrinkles that are coming. And, oh, I should go get some Botox because I don't want, those frown lines coming. And so that is one of my second tips is that when you look in the mirror, quit picking out everything that you hate about yourself. If you want to feel great about yourself and want to have confidence and self-esteem, go in the mirror and pick out 5 things you love about you instead of picking out everything you hate about you. And that was one thing that I was doing when I was younger is that I would look in the mirror and say, yuck, who's going to love that? I'm covered in scars. And media and society says that someone covered in scars is not beautiful. Those were the words that I would say to myself. Well, how can I be confident and feel beautiful if I'm telling myself how ugly I am? So yeah, I had to shift my thinking and I had to go, okay, I want to feel beautiful. And I'm going to have to stop, comparing myself to all these other women. The bottom line is I'm not going to be like them. I'm not. The scars are physically on my face. They're on my body. So if that's the only way that I can feel beautiful is by what I look like physically, I'm not going to make it. So I have to change my thoughts. And so I want to feel beautiful on the inside, because that is where the true beauty comes from. It comes from your inside. And so how can I do that? Because a lot of people say, oh, inner beauty counts, not outer beauty, but they don't know what inner beauty is. So to me, inner beauty is when you look in the mirror and you quit picking on yourself. And you look in the mirror and you say, you know what, I happen to love my big, beautiful green eyes. I happen to love my cute little nose. You know, I happen to love my cute little hot ass. You know, like it's picking out those things that you love about you. You know, I love that I have a sense of humor. I love that I have 3 beautiful kids that I'm, you know, helping to raise, and they're doing amazing, right? Like that's where it comes from. And that's what we need to do, is go in the mirror, and instead of picking on yourself and finding everything that's wrong about you, start, you know, saying what's right about you. And when you start picking out all the things that are right about you, then it's like, oh my God, I am an awesome person. I am beautiful. I am smart. I am successful. But we're so caught up in having to compare ourselves to other people. And I heard this saying once, and I don't remember who it was, but someone said, quit comparing yourself, like your beginning, to my middle. I don't know if that makes any sense. But basically what's happening is, like, sometimes people will say to me, like, they want to be speakers or they want to be authors, and they're like, oh my God, you're so amazing. I could never do that. And I'm like, hold it. You're comparing yourself to my middle. I've been doing this for 9 years. You're just starting. So why are you comparing yourself to me, who's already done it for 9 years? Right? Compare me to my beginning in life, or my beginning when I first started as an author, and that's when we should be comparing ourselves. Compare yourself to somebody who's in the same level as you. Don't go compare yourself to somebody who's at a higher level than you, or compare yourself to your beginning. Like when I look at my life, like when I was going through my divorce and everything, like I didn't have the same confidence or the self-esteem or the same credentials that I have now. So when you were reading my bio, I mean, all that stuff that happened, that all, like all those credentials and the awards and the Woman of Distinction and all that stuff, that happened in the last 9 years. That didn't, like, that is all, like, 9 years ago, if you were to see me, I was in a toxic marriage. I was in a dead-end job. We were almost bankrupt. I was, you know, cheating on my husband. I was being disrespectful to him. He was being disrespectful to me and cheating on me. Like, we were not in the position that I'm in now. So when I compare myself to where I was 9 years ago, I'm like, holy crap, who is that chick? Right? Like, where did all this stuff come from? Right? But it was all because I decided that I was going to do things the way I wanted to do it. I was going to put myself first, and I was going to accomplish my dreams and my goals, and I wasn't going to let anybody hold me back. And that, I think, is also like my third tip, is that don't let people hold you back. Like, if you want a dream, go for it. Like, I never thought 9 years ago that I'd have a documentary about my life story. Like, I had no idea that would happen, but it did. And it's all because I took action, and I had a dream, and you know, and made it come true. Yeah. So, but some people just hold themselves back in life, and they don't allow their true passion or their true power to come through. And that's what people got to do. It's just like, no, I want this, and I'm going to do what it takes to get it.
That's beautiful, Kelly. Those are beautiful words of wisdom. So don't compare yourself, and don't let anybody hold you back. And, you know, look in the mirror and love yourself. Wow.
Yeah, and find
powerful
things that you love about yourself, right? Like, that's the whole thing, is when you go in the mirror and you can say, you know what, I am awesome, especially when I compare myself where I was, you know, 10 years ago. Like, I was in a complete different situation 10 years ago. You would never know that I was the same person. So, and I believe that anybody can do that. I don't believe that I'm any more special than anybody else. I just believe that I took action. And when my intuition told me to do something, I did it.
Yeah. That's another powerful point. Listen to your intuition. So many of us give our power away.
Whispers. Yeah. Look, we get those little whispers of our heart. And I think because it doesn't sound like someone else's voice, it sounds like our own voice, that we don't recognize that it's our higher power that's actually talking to us and wants us to follow our dreams, right? Like, I heard this little whisper in my heart that said, email Brian. And I'm like, okay, why should I email Brian? Well, Brian worked for the broadcaster who aired a different documentary of mine that I did, and he's in Ontario. And so I emailed Brian, and I said, hey, Brian, I just wrote a book proposal for, my next book, which is called Still Beautiful, and I'm being encouraged to make it into a documentary. And I don't know if this is something that you're interested in or not, but I thought I'd just email it to you and see what you think. So he emailed me back, and he said, you know what, there are no stupid ideas. He said, thank you for reaching out to me. And he says, I'm going to take your book proposal, and I'm going to give it to our programming manager who makes, original programming. And within the hour, that manager had phoned me, and he said, look, I want to have a meeting with you. I love your book proposal. Would you like to make this documentary yourself, or do you want to co-produce it with us? And then we will put money into the pot, and we will make this, and it will be on TV. And to me, it was a no-brainer. It was a no-brainer. I'm like, absolutely, I want to partner with you. Let's make it happen. And we had a meeting, and 2 years later, I had a documentary about my life story that's aired across Canada. And it was all because I listened to that little whisper of my heart that said, email Brian.
Exactly.
And
if you would have waited.
Those little whispers. Yeah.
Yes, and if you don't act on them right away, then no.
Exactly.
Gosh.
Like, how do you create a blissful life if you don't listen to those little whispers of your heart?
That's right. Exactly. They're a gift, And sometimes, like being a nurse, people say, oh, that's just schizophrenic thinking, but no, it's not. There's a difference between the still voice that is higher consciousness, helping and directing you, than something that's schizoid in behavior, because those voices are negative and they're very painful and everything else. So, so there's nothing wrong with giving into your intuition, listening to the little voice in your heart or your mind, wherever it is that you feel. But usually it's in your heart if it's really truth. And, and it is true. Bliss can happen in any second that you decide to make it happen. And so grateful that you listened to that voice and emailed Brian. My goodness, what a gift.
It is. Yeah. I know. I'm glad that I listened to that little voice. And again, I think it's because we think that little voice has to sound different. I know some people that, they listen to God and, and they hear that voice and they listen to it and they act on that. And some people think, well, I don't hear it. And you probably are hearing it. You're just not paying attention to it. And that's a big thing.
Well, this is a thing, right? Like if experiences are meant to, we are our thoughts. And if we are thinking and expecting a different outcome, but thinking the same thoughts over and over again, we're never going to break through. We just get more of what that is that we've been experiencing. But it's when you make that change in consciousness that everything life looks different, events come to you, inspiration happens, and it's good to think outside of the box, isn't it?
It is, absolutely. I never thought that I would, become a best-selling author. I didn't think I could do that. But, you just get the right people in place that can help you. And instead of saying, asking for help is a weakness, to me, asking for help is a sign that you're looking for resources. Mm-hmm. Right? You're asking your tribe, how can I make this happen? right? Or who knows the answer to this? That's not weakness. That's like tapping into your tribe that want to help you. And, they might have something that you need.
Yes, and that's a beautiful thing. Is you can't do it alone in this earthly planet. You have to have your posse of professionals that are there to help you and are just waiting for you. It's true. So, it's amazing to see the growth, and especially like myself too. Life changed when I decided to break out of a toxic relationship as well, and just open the doors to possibility. And it was like the floodgates opened, and here I am. I'm so proud of the fact that I made some choices too to step out of the toxic situation. But yet that was a gift, because if it wasn't for the experiences I had within that relationship, I never would be strong enough to face my possibilities of what we could do here and now. So, Kelly, it's amazing that we are here and now, and we're here now to touch. Somebody's listening right now that needs this information. And I know that you have your website, and I advise people to go check out kellyfalardeau.com, and she has some coaching programs. So, Kelly, tell us a little bit about what you do one-on-one with people and in a group environment, and to help people to reach beyond their perceived normal to reach their new desired dreams come true.
Well, it's only been in this last year or so that I decided I would go into that coaching realm, because again, there was a little bit of self-doubt with myself. It was like, what do you mean I know how to do this stuff? Like, I know how to do it, but do I really know it enough that I can teach people to do it? And so, I have friends of mine, they're like, Kel, like, you need to be coaching people. Like, you know this stuff. You know how to do it. And so I was like, yeah, I don't know. Like, again, I'm thinking, coach has to be someone like Anthony Robbins that's got a big, powerful presence, and it's kind of funny that I'm here because, here I am going to be seeing him in a couple hours, right? And I use, that story is that a lot of times we think that someone who's so much bigger than us that we can't do it ourselves. And so, but people were always asking me, Kel, like, how did you start writing a book? How did you become a speaker? Like, how did you start? I know I want to do it, but I just don't know where to start. And so that's what I do, is I help people get started. So I help them get started writing their books, become a speaker. And I believe if you're going to be an author, you should be a speaker, because that's how you're going to sell books, is by speaking about them. And if you're going to be a speaker, I believe you should be an author, because then when people get to know you or they hear you speak, they want to go deeper with you. And so they want your book so that they can learn more about you, because you can only say so much in a half-hour interview, right? So I believe, everybody has a story, and I believe that they need to get it out to the world, because you never know how you're going to help somebody. And so that's when I decided to start coaching. And so I just developed this brand new laser coaching program, and it's called the Successful Author Coaching Program. And so basically, for less than $84 a month, you get one-on-one, unlimited, 15-minute laser calls, coaching calls with me for 1 year. So, so I'm really, really excited about this new program. And I'm only taking on 12 people, because I really want to be able to focus on, on them and their business and, the changes they want to make, and, and really having lots of progress with them. But the whole thing is they have to do every call we have homework, and then you have to do that homework before you can book your next call. Right?
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. So you pay $9.97.
So there's accountability also built in this.
There is. Exactly. So it's basically like, think of it as like, a fitness club. So at this fitness club, you can pay $9.97, and which works out to be less than $84 a month, and you get unlimited access to me with 15-minute laser calls. But you got to do your homework, and if you don't do your homework, then and if it's not making sense for you, then book another call, and then we'll reassign new homework together so that you're inspired to actually do your homework. So, but I find what's happening is I used to book like 1-hour calls with my clients, and we were spending too much time chatting about things that really didn't matter. And so with the laser calls, we get like right to the point. And so it works out really good because then we're just focusing on, okay, what's the problem? What do you need help with? What's going well? What isn't? Where are you stuck? How can we move you through? And then we do the homework. And it's just amazing. It's working so good. I'm loving it.
Oh, that's awesome. That's really good. Yes, because lots of times people are on an hour-long call and they go, okay, all right already, let me go.
Yeah, I want to get to work,
so,
right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
sometimes all you have is like, 1 or 2 or 3 quick questions. So you don't really need to spend a whole hour, right? Like,
right.
Actually, just before I got on the call here, I was coaching a girl. And so I, allotted a half an hour for her, and it was like 10 minutes. And she had all the answers that she wanted. And she was like, okay, good. I don't need to talk to you anymore today. And I'm like, okay, good.
Awesome.
But now she's inspired to keep moving forward, with her book. So,
good.
Yeah. So that's my new program that I'm really excited about. And, I have some other stuff that's going on, too. But that's the latest program that, is going to be the most value to people. So.
That will be because, there are so many people who have a story to share. And so many people put themselves down and say, oh, I'm not that important. But you are. Everyone is. We are all actually one consciousness together, and we help to move each other forward by sharing our experiences and our perspectives. So, so it's very important. There's, cemeteries are filled with unrequited dreams and goals, So while we're here having this earthly experience, let's shake it up and let's really wake up and really share our stories and our gifts because it's precious. I mean, you can't put a price on it, but yet if, speaking and writing are two things that go together beautifully, and you've proved that, Kelly. You've done that time and time again, and I really appreciate what you bring to the world.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate what you bring to the world, and, you've given me this opportunity to share with your tribe and your listeners, and because that's, what you're meant to do also is to, bring that message into the world and helping people to see that, you're right, we all have a story. It's what you choose to do with that story. Like, you can choose to take that story and let it hold you back in your life. Like, I know burn survivors who are still in that victim role. They still see themselves as a victim. And, and then I see other burn survivors that are taking their story and they're just doing amazing things with it. And we all have that opportunity. Like, all I did was send Brian an email, and I have a documentary. And it's been on TV. I don't know how many times, but it's been on TV like hundreds of times. And it was all because I sent an email to Brian. Who can't send an email to Brian? Right? Everybody can send an email. Right? Like, everybody has the same access as I do. So
exactly.
It's just, do you want to do something with your gift, or do you want to let it hold you back in life?
Those are great words to end the call on. We're at the end of the half hour. That's gone by so fast. So,
oh my goodness,
Kelly, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Awesome.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And enjoy your time with Tony Robbins. I mean, you can't get more revved up than that. So I can't wait to see what comes from that. Exactly.
You
so
bet.
Visit Kelly's website, kellyfalardeau.com. Catch Still Beautiful wherever it's playing in cinemas across Canada and on TV. Check her out on Amazon. She's got 5 books, and if you go to the Ageless Blessings Marketplace, you can sign up get free gifts from Kelly as well. So that is www.tinyurl.com/A, B, M, and check it out. So, Kelly, God bless and many blessings to you.
Thank you so much. And you have a great day, too.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you for joining us.